Greetings to one and all joining us for this pre-recorded show, which is recorded early doors, and this is for the meeting that takes place at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and really looking forward to the meeting. And this will be a 10-race program. 11:55, an early start. Lovely to have Graeme Hawkins in studio. And Graeme, not one of the easiest cards around, and obviously with the weather patterns recently, quite a bit of rain around.
Fortunately, on the weather front, today we record Tuesday morning. Tuesday is a lovely day. Wednesday is going to be a lovely day. So on Monday, we raced on a pretty soft track. I expect the track to firm up quite a little bit. There was evidence of a track bias during the race meeting on Monday. That worries me because we've got big fields. This is a real brain teaser for us.
There we go, brain teaser, and that's the operative word. Let's get straight into proceedings for race number 1, down the straight over 1,000 meters. Number 2, What a Star, is your joint 2-to-1 favorite, with number 6, She's My World. Number 1, Inside Voice, is 5-to-1, and then we go 8-to-1 and better the rest. Now, Graeme, when we look at the first race, number 1, Inside Voice, and number 2, What a Star, they have the inside draws.
Yes, they do, but I think pretty much all of the fancied runners are drawn on the inside half of the field if the track bias is going to persist for this 1,000 metre contest and all other races down the straight. Not easy to work out which of the two may be the better, 2, What a Star, or 6, She's My World. They both have form behind Wild Wild Green. What a Star ran second to Wild Wild Green on debut, and She's My World ran fourth, well beaten by Wild Wild Green on the 25th of January. What a Star certainly seems to have the measure of number 3, Love Her Madly, on collateral form. I question the strength of Inside Voice's debut run. There was a 6-horse field, ran third behind Amen Corner. I had a close look at the runners. There'd been no, obviously, fillies coming out of that race subsequent to that run on the 5th of March, but I just got the feel that that wasn't the strongest juvenile maiden around. So Inside Voice, I'm tempting to sit on the fence with. I think it could well be a match between 2, What a Star, and 6, She's My World. I'm expecting the winner to come from one of those two. Obviously, the unknown is number 4, Match That, who's also quoted in single figures, and there are a host of other first-timers as well. The comment's not that encouraging. So perhaps we can focus on the race runners and a toss-up between numbers 2, What a Star, and 6, She's My World. Perhaps What a Star, Candice Bass, was in good form on Monday, and maybe the form of the stable will continue.
Right, let's move on to race number 2, which is over 1,200 meters. And once again, we have joint favourites at 5-2, number 9, Day In, Day Out, along with number 5, Iridian, who is returning from a 297-day absence. Number 12, Ocean Sky, at 11-2, and then there's 10-1 and better the rest. Graeme, let's kick off with number 5, Iridian, who started off his career with a bang, second to Talk to the Master, second to Great Plains, and then second to Chestnut Bomber. They've given him a long rest now. He's been a bit disappointing. 1,200 metres after the rest.
Well, he's the key horse in the race. He clearly brings the best form into the race, does number 5, Iridian, when you talk about the horses that he ran second to. And obviously when he was 1-4 favourite at Hollywoodbets Scottsville way back on the 23rd of June and disappointed when running third. Clearly something went amiss. There was respiratory noises and other such excuses, but I think clearly the issues ran deeper than that. And for that reason, we haven't seen him since the 23rd of June. But he's clearly, in my opinion, on form, the horse they all have to beat. Dean Cannemer reports that he's doing well at home. Obviously, there's always the concern that after such a lengthy break, you might need the run. But certainly number 5, Iridian, is my top choice because the form is just superior to all those around him. 9, Day In, Day Out, is a 2-year-old going up against the older horses in this maiden. Caught the eye on debut in 4th of 11 behind Military Command. Military Command is held in very high regard, so expect a really good run from number 9, Day In, Day Out. But all things being equal, if Iridian comes to the track in fine fettle, then I think the 2-year-old is going to battle to match strides with Iridian. 12, Ocean Sky, that form is suspect. It was a work rider's maiden. It wasn't a particularly strong field. The average rating there was 61, but he was a long, long way out of his ground. and did finish the race off quite nicely, so he will have benefited from that experience. Boundless Love, Snaith feels that he'll need further, but it wasn't a bad effort on the 11th of December behind Master of the Desert. We haven't seen him since. The one horse that I think you should throw into trifectas and quartets at a big price, number 6, Spectacular. I know that Glenn Cotson thinks quite a lot of the Sunniverse in Gedricks. He's had his issues, but I liked the last run. It was at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He showed improved pace. He wasn't beaten too far. Again, the field wasn't the strongest. It was an average merit rating 69 field. But at a big price, he certainly could get into the mix. So include number 6, Spectacular, in your trifectas and quartets.
Well, there you go. Spectacular could be the springer in the pack, so include into all of your bets. Now, they've thrown us a bit of a curveball going into race number 3. It doesn't get any easier. A big field assembled to go over the 1,200 meter trip. And when you look at the betting, 5 to 1 the field, 15 Sundays, drawn out at 15. Number 7, True Horizon, 5 to 1. They're both joint 5 to 1. In fact, a 3-way joint go. Number 13, Tambourine Man, is also 5 to 1. You can then get 6 to 1 and better the rest. We're not going to spend too much time on this race. I see you've gone four numbers or 5 numbers in your exotic.
Yeah, look, this is a very competitive Class 5, 1,200 meters. It's a big field, complicated by the fact that if the draw bias does tend to persist, then runners like Mighty Mac, Tambourine Man, and Sun Dazed, who are drawn in gates 11, 13, and 15, might be up against it. It's a case of the Adam Marcus stable versus the Candice Bass Robinson stable. Adam Marcus has got 7 True Horizon and 13 Tambourine Man. Candice has got number 6 Trippy Silk and number 15 Sun Dazed. Any of those 4 could end up in the winner's enclosure. Mighty Mac ran 4th behind Tambourine Man last time. He was backed at long odds from 20 to 1 into 10 to 1. Apprentice Bungani takes 4 kilos off the back. That could be valuable. And so Mighty Mac does have the form to get into the fray, but there are others in the race with a chance. So I've gone with numbers 6, 7, 11, and 13 in this, the opening leg of the place accumulator, hoping to survive. I do think that both Adam Marcus's runners, True Horizon and Tambourine Man, have the form to be very competitive and have been competitive in this class. We were very strong on Sundays last time. When he ran at Durbanville, well, that was his first run in Class 5. I just worry about the fact that he's drawn on the extreme outside when the track bias might persist, and that won't make his chances any easier. And for that reason, I slightly prefer his stable companion, number 6, Trippy Silk. Sean Veal rode well for the Candice Bass Robinson stable on Monday, recording a double, and I think you can ignore that slightly below par effort last time. Judge him on his previous 2 runs, and number 6, Trippy Silk, is very much alive.
That'll take us on to race number 4, which will be the opening leg of the pick 6. And just having a look, scratched is number 8, Pink Pigeon, at the early time of recording. 15% deduction with Hollywood Bets. So number 11, Tanneron, is the 9 to 2 favourite. Number 14, Miraculous, at 7 to 1. 8 to 1, Captain's Destiny. And then 10 to 1 and upwards. Graeme, how do we negotiate race number 4?
Yeah, look, we've got 19 fillies remaining in this Class 4 over 1,200 metres with the scratching of number 8, Pink Pigeon. A full card of 20 runners was allowed to compete here. So it's a bit of a nightmare, but I do think, again, the draw slightly worries me, or perhaps I'm hoping that the track evens out with the sun shining Tuesday and on race day. But Tanneron has always looked to be above the average. She's run second in the last 2 starts. She was beaten by Pilot Flame last time out. That was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and Pilot Flame does reoppose here. So if you like Tanneron, there's a lot of reasons to like number 10, Pilot Flame. So as far as the place accumulator is concerned, I've decided, because there are so many here with chances, I'm going to take my chances and banker number 11, Tanneron, in the place accumulator. Hope she gets into the top 3. If you're not that confident and you want to include something that's a little better drawn, then I would certainly back it up with number 4, Captain's Destiny. She's been a model of consistency. Aussie Note gets a really good tune out of the 4-year-old daughter of William Longsword, and she has hardly put a foot wrong. So although in my suggested place accumulator, which we will see later on, of banker number 11, Tanneron, that's because obviously when you're suggesting these bets, you try to contain the cost as best as possible. But if you're looking for backup, for me it would be number 4, Captain's Destiny. As far as the pick six is concerned, opening leg of the pick six, class 4 fillies and mares, 1,200 metres, 19 runners with the potential. I say potential because it's not a guarantee that the track bias on Wednesday for this race meeting will be as evident as it was on Monday. Tracks can change their nature very quickly, but yeah, it's that tough. Again, I think you've just got to. You can't put 19 horses into the first leg of the pick six because the perm just multiplies out too rapidly, and there are a lot of tough races on this card. It's a very challenging one for punters, but an exciting one because obviously if you play it right you can be handsomely rewarded. But 11 Tanner on my top choice with Captain's Destiny my second choice. That would be my ultra shortlist.
Well, there we go. That is the short list, and you pay your money, you take your chances, and hopefully you're in the winner's enclosure and survive. That'll take us to the halfway point, race number 5 over 1,400 metres. So it will be the first race around the turn. And just looking at the betting, number 2, Lady Lookalike, is 28-10. Trey Schick, number 6, is 5-1. Number 15, Beach Queen, at 11-2. And then you can get 6-1 and bet to the rest. Scratch number 12, English Mistress, at the early time of recording. And Graeme, the favourite, number 2, Lady Lookalike. This is a 2-time winning daughter of VAR. Well drawn at Stallgate number 2, 61.5 kilograms on the back. Seems to love that 4th position for the quartets.
Yeah, it's run 4th in her last 3 appearances. This again, obviously class 5, low grade, fillies and mares, handicap 1,400 metres. So it's open to a surprise result. But the longer I look at this race, the more I look at this race, the more I'm tending to side with number 2, Lady Lookalike. Brett and James Crawford had a couple of winners on Monday. The stable has come back to its very best form. She cracks a very good draw here. Her form is better than most included in this lineup. And the danger for me would be number 6, Trey Chic. I think she's always there and thereabouts, and you ignore number 6, Trey Chic, at your peril. She should go well in this sort of class over this course and distance. I did initially include number 12, English Mistress, the maiden, into the place accumulator. As you will see, 2, 6 and 12 were my numbers. 12 is obviously scratched. A word about number 13, Bright Gold. She did beat We Have a Situation last time. That was an open maiden. Wasn't a bad effort. She can continue to improve. From the Candice Bass Robinson stable, not drawn that well. Beach Queen, who's impeccably bred, of course, been out of that wonderful mare Beach Beauty, did run 3rd at Fairview on the Polytrack last time out, but at Cape Form before that was horrendous. So I'm still waiting for her to confirm that improvement. So the longer I look at this race, the more convinced I am that perhaps number 2, Lady Lookalike, the race sets up nicely for her, is going to be tough to beat. 6, Trey Chic would be my clear second choice.
That'll take us on to race number 6 at 14.55, all things being equal. And of course, it's the Wolf Power Syndicate B Stakes. So take note of the best weighted column. And there's a couple of scratchings in here. Just having a look, number 4, Major Master, and number 9, Future Turn. So that'll reduce the field by 2 runners. And you'll know a lot about Wolf Power. What an outstanding horse he was.
He was one of the greatest I ever saw, and obviously very eye-catching, being the almost white grey that he was. Ricky Maingard and Jeff Lloyd, wonderful memories. This race, of course, numerically is the smallest field on the card. We've got well-filled, large fields at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth to make racing interesting, challenging, but also exciting. So with the 2 scratchings, we're down to 8 runners, but it doesn't necessarily make it that easy, because most of them have the form to be competitive in this 1,500 metre event. Katsu, we haven't seen since June last year, has been off the track with an injury, a Paston injury, and Lucinda Fields might need the run, even though it's drawn in gate 1. And 3, Song to the Moon, who's in the betting and has great form and is a handsome son of What a Winter. But I just suspect that Song to the Moon is better over further. Pardon Nom is capable, did us a very good turn on this show, 3 runs back when he won at 12-1, and we labelled him that day. His 2 subsequent runs have been poor. I mentioned those 3 horses because they're probably at the bottom of the list. So I'm focusing on number 2, Big Unit, number 6, Mauritius Kestrel, and number 10, World of Pleasure. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Inamarari and Aspect were to come back to form and be competitive in a race of this nature. So the Captain West form line of the 22nd of March comes under scrutiny. On that form line, World of Pleasure should comfortably have the measure of Mauritius Kestrel. They ran second and third, but World of Pleasure showed a lot of guts that day and only failed by a short head after trying to make all the running. Mauritius Kestrel was 3 lengths behind him. I'm not sure the extra 100 meters is in favour of World of Pleasure, but it depends how aggressive they are with him. He does have the worst of the draw. It's a small field, but nonetheless he has the worst of the draw to overcome. And we'll have to see if he maintains that kind of form. So I'm actually in the camp of number 2, Big Unit as my first choice, but healthy respect for both number 6, Mauritius Kestrel, and 10, World of Pleasure. Trappy little contest, interesting race. It is the richest race on the card. It is the highest quality race on the card, being a Cape B Stakes. Should be a nice race despite the fact that we're down to only 8 runners.
Right, let's move along to race number 7, which will be the next hurdle that we need to negotiate. And just having a look at the early timer recording, there's no scratchings, and they are betting 5 to 1 the field, with number 1, Enchanting Choice from the Dean Canemayer stable, 5 to 1. Number 3, Pentalina at 6 to 1, along with number 8, Bella Vista, and then we go 7 to 1 and better the rest. Now, Graeme, how can we structure a bet in race number 7? Number 1, Enchanting Choice, obviously a little bit disappointing. I thought she would have won an extra race or 2 by now, but she's got the number 1 draw, no problem with the trip. Could this be a day to shine?
Yeah, I'm not sure the 1 draw helps her, unless, as she has done once or twice before, Craig Zaki elects to go forward. She has won previously when pretty much going start to finish. Generally, her riding tactics are to come from off them. So if you're going to give up the benefit of 1 gate and drop out, well, then the gate position is of no real help. But I'm hoping that Craig gets her into the race, pretty much as he did with Gold Dust on Monday. Take no prisoners, go to the front. You're drawn in gate 1. Before making up your mind as to whether the pace is going to be strong or slow, get yourself into the race. She has won start to finish on a previous occasion, so she can do it. She is very competitive in this kind of race. 3, Pentalina, also has a decent enough form to make her competitive in this class. Snaith brings both numbers 6, Pocket Dial, and 8, Bella Vista, either of which could win in a race of this sort. There are a few that I'm sitting on the fence with, including Hampstead Heath. She's certainly on past form, has a bright winning chance, and it wasn't a bad effort behind the very decent Let It Be Said on the 8th of March at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. I don't think that track is her best. I think she's much more at home here. So certainly from a slightly tricky draw, Hampstead Heath, with a bit of luck in running, could get into the fray. One that I'm not prepared to ignore. I know Greg Enion's been going through a very frustrating run, and I know that Family Power ran below par last time out, but on a best form, including the second behind Scarlett McCorn beating Swiatek, from a decent draw, I'm going to throw a Family Power into the mix. So I've included numbers 1, 2, and 3 into my place accumulator, all nicely drawn. As I said, I'm hoping Enchanting Choice will get into the race early on. As far as a quartet in this race is concerned, I'd be inclined to double float 1 and 3.
1 and 3. So there we go, 1 and 3, double float in the quartet, and you take your chances. Now it's time to move along to race number 8, and maybe number 2, Beer with the Boys, well named. And Graeme, some of these horses that we see from the Justin Snaith team with Gary Player, Dave McLean, they've got some interesting names.
They do, obviously based on past experiences, but Beer with the Boys would be most of our past experience. So nicely drawn. I've made him a place accumulator banker because, again, we've got, what have we got here? 16 runners after the scratching of number 12, Grippen. 17 recorded, we're down to 16. He's got a lovely draw. His form since winning his maiden is pretty decent. But if you look at the conditions of the race and on official ratings, he's got a bit of a mountain to climb. He's got 64 to shoulder. His race rating is 57, which doesn't put him in the top half of the field based on official ratings. The best weighted column is headed by St. Bridget and Silver Quality. And there are a few maidens in this race, but a lot of them are lacking in current form. And I know it's not going to be easy under 64 kilograms for number 2, Beer with the Boys. I'm hoping he at least runs a place. Mohandas out of pole position is going to be a threat. Likes to go forward. Ran a better race last time, went third behind Red Dawn after hitting the front 400 meters out. So Mohandas will get the run of the race. Beer with the Boys, Muzieni, Justin Snaith in fine form earlier in the week. So I'm sure that they will have a competitive chance at the very least, notwithstanding the official ratings which suggest that he's not going to get into the money. I do think you have a competitive chance of a top 3 finish. The horse that interests me, although slightly short of a best perhaps, is number 5, Summer Night City. Again, Apprentice Bungani takes 4 kilograms off the back, so carrying just 53.5. And if you look at the best weighted column and you add 8 points to her race rating, then she comes out way in front. Officially, that makes her race rating a 73, which would put her well clear of this. But of course, whether Apprentice Bungani gets the best out of Summer Night City, whether she won't find the 1600 meters a little bit on the sharp side for her, but with a bit of luck, if he gets into the race early, Summer Night City could well be a factor at these weights. You could go on in this race. There are so many that have shown glimpses of form, but are not necessarily consistent. They run well, then they disappoint. They run well, then they disappoint. So Beer with the Boys for me is the key horse in the race, even though he does not appear that well handicapped on official ratings and the terms and conditions of the race. Mohandas and Summer Night City for me would be the backup, but there could easily be, I said it the other day, and it turned out to be words of a prophet when I said we could be in for a Hiroshimic result in one of the races in one of our recent meetings. This could be a Hiroshimic result as well, but I'm hoping we get a decent tune out of Beer with the Boys.
There's one horse that interests me, and that's number 6, Baton Rouge. This is from the Pit Butters stable, and I've often caught the Pit Butters stable on the right side. Keenan Stain jumps aboard. Another runner that's been off form for a while, but I've just got this feeling that this horse is going to bounce back to its best at 33-1.
Well, that could easily be the case. I wouldn't rule out a real doomsday result here. But Baton Rouge, in his favour, I'm expecting the track still to be on the soft side. I don't think it'll have dried to the extent that it will get too good. It might be good to soft. He likes to go forward. Nice draw. Could run them off their feet.
There we go. Number 6, Baton Rouge at around 5-1 a fixed place for the places and around 33-1. That'll take us along to the next event, which is race number 9. So for those looking to play the last double on the day, races 9 and 10, this is the perfectly placed class 4. It's over 1600 meters. I'm going to hand the baton straight over to you, Graeme, in race number 9, and you can give your selections.
Sound like a stuck record, another very competitive race, but this time for the right reasons. It's a very nice class 4 1600 meter handicap with some horses that I think are going to be around for a while and make their presence felt for a long while and perhaps go through the divisions. I'll deal with them quickly in numerical order. Number 1, Heel and Soul, interests me, completely unexposed. Where he fits in the pecking order, I'm not sure. It's been given a rating of 84. Won on debut at a big price, then fluffed his lines, but that last run behind Boogie Fight was a solid effort when coming from well back to finish third. Goes the extra 200 meters, has the benefit of pole position. So Heel and Soul, difficult to assess how he compares to the more seasoned campaigners, but certainly in with a chance. I've included numbers 5, Hoodia, 6, Unicorn Alert, and 7, King's Quest into the place accumulator. King's Quest is the marginal favourite. He has yet to prove that he actually gets home over 1600 metres. He may be a better 1400 metre horse, but again, the Candice Bass Robinson stable is flying, so you've got to respect King's Quest. Hoodia brings decent form into the race and will go well over this 1600 metres. He's shown that in the past. I think the value, I know he hasn't won for 519 days, but he's now on a competitive mark. I think number 6, Unicorn Alert, represents some value. I think you can get 10-1 in the anti-post market there and thereabouts. So from an each-way play perspective, I do think that number 6, Unicorn Alert, offers some value. Touchdown is back in form. His last 2 runs have been good. The 12 draw is not going to help his cause to any great extent. So Touchdown has it all to do in a competitive handicap, drawn towards the outside. It's competitive for the right reasons, because there are a number of decent horses. Arbitration might have scope for further improvement. The same applies to Noble Hero, who was an emphatic winner of his last run. He's made an effort when beating Gran Canaria, and we saw Gran Canaria come out to win just the other day. But I do think that Hoodia and Unicorn Alert and King's Quest, they represent the class in the race. Heel and Soul certainly could rise to their level, and we'll see how he goes here. That'll be critical as to how we assess him going forward. If better drawn, I certainly would have considered Touchdown a big runner.
That'll take us on to race number 10, and just looking at the betting, Graeme, doesn't get any easier. 5-1 on the field. Number 3, Electric Fields, in winning form at the moment, really doing exceptionally well. Number 7, Gravity, 5-1. Number 8, Country Time is at 6-1 with number 9, Champagne Mac, and then you can get 7-1 and better. No scratchings at the early timer recording. And when glancing through this race, I was trying to come up with a first selection, and I ended up going with the Pit Butcher stable again, with number 9, Champagne Mac, trading at around 6 and 7-1. And if you look at this horse's overall form, in and out, not that consistent, but does now and again put in a really good performance.
He's not reliable, as you've mentioned, but on his very best form, then clearly number 9, Champagne Mac, is one for the shortlist. It's a D stakes, which is about as low as you go in class time. This is an average merit rating 58 field, so that tells you the whole story. Gravity has done enough recently to suggest he could be competitive, but I respect the fact that you're in the camp of Champagne Mac. But Sheldon, this very game and consistent 5-year-old mare, she's been so good to me. I've been on her, we've been on her whether she's got beaten. We've suggested she might get beaten that day. We've labelled her in her last 2 victories, third run back when just getting home ahead of True Horizon, who runs in a separate race here today. And then last time out beating Over the Atlantic, we labelled her again. She scrambled home to beat Over the Atlantic, who reopposes. Now remember, Over the Atlantic is a maiden. She's won 4, but he's got 52 to shoulder. She's got 56, and he's slightly better off at the weights with her. But I feel that Over the Atlantic benefited from the race at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He needs to confirm for me that at Kenilworth he's going to be as good. He did run well behind Try Me, and he's drawn towards the outside when there might be a track bias, whereas Electric Fields should get the run of the race. Mjorka knows her extremely well. She needs to be held up. She needs to wait till the very last moment and then burst through. Another very honest run is on the cards from number 3, Electric Fields. So if you're looking, I'm not suggesting you go out there and put the rent on, although I think 5-1 is a value price. So I think she might well shorten from that price. You should get the run of the race, irrespective of how the track is running. She's drawn in gate 3 and come at them late. But William West, he's been disappointing, but could suddenly bounce back. Wiley Jack could be the source of an upset. You've mentioned Champagne Mac. Casino Ace, definitely worth a mention. Andrew Fortune teaming up with Ricky Maingard. We were talking about Wolf Power earlier. And Gravity, as I say, together with Over the Atlantic, they definitely have chances on current form. But I'm not going to turn my back on Electric Fields. She's rewarded me handsomely. However, I've played her over the last 6 months, basically. When we've decided to label her, she's arrived. When we've played with a degree of caution and maybe just made her a place accumulator banker or whatever the case may be, she's served us well. So I don't want to turn my back on Electric Fields, because I think her current form is good. She's in a good space. She keeps running in the same class. She comes up against the same horses. So Michelle Ricks has done a wonderful job of protecting her merit rating. She's off of 58 as a 4-time winner.
Unbelievable.
And doesn't seem, so these races set up really well for her. And kudos to her, because these are the races that she's competitive in, and that's what good racing is all about. They're still betting 5-1 the field. So she's no standout, but she's just ultra honest, ultra competitive, and very game, and ideally course and distance suited. So Electric Fields for me.
Well, there we go. Maybe Electric Fields can strike again, take some swingers and exactors with number 9, Champagne Mac. That's been the 10-race program, and I'm now going to hand it over to you, Graeme, to take you through the suggested bet, please.
Yeah, well, this is a race card that sets up well for a place accumulator. First leg, which is race 3, due off at 13.05, going with 6 Trippy Silk, 7 True Horizon, 11 Mighty Mac, and 13 Tambourine Man. If you want to add one more, and I wouldn't put you off that, I would then also include number 15 Sun Dazed. Both Sun Dazed and Tambourine Man, if the track bias does hold up and doesn't even out, are going to find it tough from the stand side of the track. Then we had 20 horses carded for the 4th race. We do have one scratching, and I've decided to go all in with number 11, Tanneron, as a place accumulator banker. The backup, if you'd like to add one more, would be number 4, Captain's Destiny for me. Then 2, 6, and 12, Lady Lookalike, Trey Chic, and the now scratched English Mistress. And I wouldn't substitute that with anything. The more I look at this race, the more I believe that Lady Lookalike might be the right horse. So 2, 6, and 12. If you want to change the 12, leave it there to double up if the tote favourite arrives. That is your choice. Or perhaps go 4 and 11 in the second leg and 2 and 6 in the third leg and take out the scratching number 12. Then we've got 2, 4, and 6. And again, here we've got a scratching. The perm was submitted before the scratchings came through. Big unit. Scratch number 4, Major Master, so change the 4 to 10 if you like, and 6, Mauritius Kestrel. So I will be playing it 2, 6, and 10 and taking out the 4, Major Master, which is now a scratching. Then numbers 1, 2, and 3, all drawn well. Enchanting Choice, Family Power, and Pentalina. I'm happy with that. Taking my chances with number 2, Beer with the Boys, because it's hard in a big field to go against him, even though he's not particularly well handicapped. He brings good, strong form into the race and represents the Muzi, Yenny, Justin Snaith combination. And then the last leg of the PA gone with 5, Hoodia, 6, Unicorn Alert, and 7, King's Quest. The value could well be number 6, Unicorn Alert. But it's we're going to need a bit of luck on our side, Sheldon. Big fields are the order of the day, apart from the headliner, the B Stakes over 1,500 metres. Very competitive. I'm hoping the track evens out to give those on the inside and those on the outside, particularly the races down the straight with large fields, an even chance of winning, because it's always in the back of your mind that if you're going for horses drawn on the stand side, you're not going to get a great run for your money.
Well, thanks very much for your expert advice. And either way you look at the 10-race program, there's a lot of money to be made.
I think it's a very nice day's racing in this sense, and obviously race by race betting. I've said this before, your swingers, your exactas, your trifectas. On a day like this, I think the place accumulator is the right bet. It's going to be tough to get it all right in the pick 6. The jackpot's obviously easier, and there are 2 of them, race 5 and race 7. But this is a kind of race meeting where, again, to play around with trifectas and quartets can be profitable, but certainly entertaining.
Well, there you go. You've got it all, and all we've got left to say is hit them hard, and hopefully you end up in the winner's enclosure. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.